Andrew Treglia, thank you for joining me in the trenches again. Without being boring, give me a quick breakdown of you.
Oh, I'm a filmmaker, adventurer. I directed a film called Jones Plantation, directed and edited. And I have a film that was released on the 31st of May called Barnum World. And we like Jones, a lot less money, but we crowdfunded that film as well. And so per the promise I made to the crowdfunders, the donors, contributors, we released that one for free to the internet. So that's on, you can watch that. Right now it's on YouTube and Rumble and BitChute, but it's going to be, I'll keep releasing probably, 3 to 4 more platforms. It'll probably be on like 10 platforms by the time it's all said and done. But right now you can go watch it on YouTube. It's called Barnum World. And so far the response has been great. But and then
what's it about?
It's a Barnum World, baby. It's a mockumentary. It was originally going to just be a documentary, and we are going to do the usual humdrum, do a voiceover and prove a point kind of thing. And we decided, we created this fictional character named Natty Jones. And I guess the long story short is Natty Jones sits down, he does a tell-all he's a propagandist, and he's been groomed. His father worked for the Rand Corporation. So there's like a CIA kind of cutout kind of thing. And we don't learn this in the film, but this is the backstory. But he sits down, he does a tell-all about the propaganda and it covers the entire system. And he basically just lays out the entire clown system that we live under, the entire scam that we live under. And we prove it with B-roll of the world we actually live in. It's really hard to explain. I haven't actually gotten that down yet. I haven't even cut a trailer yet. We did a screening in Phoenix and threw it up, and it's just been, people love it so far. Mostly. The only thing I've complaints about is not enough Jews. Not enough Jews. You got to show more Jews. And everybody's a target. We don't let them alone either, but I paint with a very subtle brush. You know what I mean? So if everybody's in there, so just pay attention and you'll see what you need to see. But so we cut, and so the B-roll it supports what he's talking about, and it's its own kind of narrative. And the character Natty Jones is played by Lee Gallman, who played Mr. Jones in Jones Plantation. And in fact, in the backstory, Natty's a distant cousin of Nathaniel Jones, who ran the Jones Plantation. I know I didn't do a very good job explaining it. I wish I had a trailer for you.
The Jones Plantation is effectively an adaptation of that short video that Larkin Rose made a few years back, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, it's there's a short animation, and we adapted it to. It's completely different, but what's crazy about that is that I went down to Anarchapulco, which is this anarchist kind of freedom conference in Mexico. You've heard of it, I'm sure. You need to go.
Yeah, Steve Falconer was there.
Yes, you know Steve.
Yeah,
as a buddy of mine. I met him down there actually. And we became good buddies. I talk to him now and again. He calls me from, I think he's in Denmark, right? I think he's in Denmark.
And Andrew Kaufman was there too recently, and I think
buddy
so
of mine
was
now too.
Patrick Henningsen.
Yeah, I didn't meet him, but Kaufman was there. I have a show now, Maverick and the Machine, a podcast. I've interviewed Kaufman. Of course, YouTube. That's the only one YouTube pulled it down. I couldn't believe it. I was so pissed off. It's a really good interview, and they said medical misinformation.
You couldn't believe it.
Well, because there was nothing in the interview, but they have it in for him. He's on the no-fly list on YouTube. They hate him because he's credentialed, and he says what a bunch of horseshit the credentialing is, and they can't kookify him. I mean, he went to MIT, grad school, and he's like, this is totally unnecessary. Anyways, where was it? We're getting sidetracked. It's early here, so bear with me. I just got my coffee, but
I was kind of asking you to explain the Jones Plantation.
Oh, right. So what happened? Go ahead.
Actually, it's a great, great film.
Thank you. Well, I was saying is that I went to the conference, and this was February 2019. So literally like weeks before the whole World War COVID started. And I interviewed Larkin there. I had a whole other project. I was going to do something called Democracy Down. I just had an idea. I didn't have, I was so broke at the time. I literally like borrowed money from a rich buddy of mine. Took Doug Mize, who was assistant director on the film, flew down there, took all our equipment, and just started interviewing people. And I was going to interview people across the political spectrum. That was kind of the original idea, and make a documentary. And I just was compelled to go there. I met Larkin. I interviewed him, and during the interview, and it's on my YouTube channel, the Drew Media TV. Which I still have. I'm careful with them, but he, in the interview, he says, I said, slavery's, the old slavery was whips and chains, but today may be more pernicious because it's mind control, it's brainwashing. You don't see the whips, you don't see the chains, you don't see the slave master. You think you're free. And he said, it's funny. I did a short animation called Jones Plantation. And then we went and watched it. Me and Doug went and watched it back at the hotel room. And I was like, man, this would be a great short film. We should make it into a narrative. And he's like, why don't we just make it a feature? He said that in the flight home. So then it turns out Larkin lives in Arizona. So I just wrote him and said, hey, let's do a Indiegogo campaign and turn this into a feature film. And he was like, yeah, let's go. So here we are. But if I had gone, if that conference was a week later, that film would have never happened because all the COVID shit happened like literally like a week after we got back. And I met him towards the end of the conference, and we had to shoot that thing during that insanity too, which was another interesting. It's an allegory and a satire of the control system that we live in now through the lens of an antebellum slave plantation. It's like a coil that's unwinding faster and faster and faster. It's, I don't know. It's, I'm really thinking of like, I'm trying to work my way out of this. I live in the States. I mean, I'm going to watch the collapse of Western civilization. I don't want to watch it from my backyard. I don't know what's going to go on here. When people ask me what the film's about, that's all I tell them. We all live on Jones Plantation. And it's weird because people tend to get it when I say that. They don't know exactly. Even if they don't know, sometimes I'll wear the shirt. And then what's Jones Plantation? We all live on Jones Plantation. And they kind of get it. It's a weird thing. Everybody kind of knows there's something. If you don't know there's something up, then you're probably going to be dead in 10 years. I mean, there's if you don't know what's going on, if you don't understand that, everybody knows there's something is strange. Even if they're the most normie people, there's something feels off.
Your credentials are significant. I mean, you've also won awards.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I'm not really big on awards.
An Emmy, I think, hey?
No, I don't think so. I think maybe I worked on a show that won an Emmy, but no. I don't think I won an Emmy. I don't think I won an Emmy, did I?
Or something you worked on. I can't remember. I might have it wrong, actually. But for the sake of making you look good, we'll say you did.
Okay, I'll take it. I'm trying to remember because I worked at PBS for years, and I was on
with Jimmy Kimmel, I think.
Oh well, Jimmy Kimmel. That was so. I did a feature documentary called Lord of the Freaks. It was this was like pre-awakening me. I was in LA, and they had a big screening at the Egyptian Theater there, which was pretty wild because I didn't get into filmmaking until my 30s. I never even picked up a camera, and I doused around the thing, but I made the decision to go full bore into it I didn't know anything, and so then literally 10 years later, I'm standing on this really expensive red carpet in LA for my screening at the theater where red carpet was invented. It's a beautiful theater, the Egyptian, which is right down the street from the Chinese theater. And I just was like, it was great. It was a great experience, but I was just kind of like, something didn't feel right. I didn't know what it was. And it was about a lot of soul searching. About 3 years later is when I just said, I made a decision, I'm going to do what I want to do. And that's it. Whatever, come hell or high water. And that was really when I started to do what I want to do. Once you make a decision, what they call, burning the boats, which came from Cortez, apparently the story goes that he landed in Mexico and they were outnumbered, whatever, like 100-1 or whatever it was. And they were scared and he burned all the boats. It was just like, dude, we're either going to conquer this place or we're getting killed. That's it. And that's kind of like a metaphor for how you make decisions in life when you're serious. Burn the boats. Let's go. We're going to do this, and that's it. So once I made the decision, once you make the decision, then things start to happen. And that's kind of what happened with me. But I was kind of just figuring things out, and it's weird how once you make that decision, like it's just how things happen. Like as soon as I made the decision, literally like a client I hadn't talked to in 5 years contacted me, and I did this job in Arkansas, and I made like 10 grand on the job, and I just bought all my equipment with it for the shoot for Mexico, and that's how I met Larkin, and here we are.
When did you have your Damascus moment?
Oh, yeah, we've talked. My Damascus moment was the birth of my daughter. And I tell the story, and it sounds corny, and so I'm like, and I swear to God, this is true. I literally, I'll tell you, this is kind of embarrassing. I've told my daughter this, and we think it's funny now. So her mother and I are not together, but we co-parent. We have a very good situation. I wouldn't recommend it, and I wouldn't do it twice because you'll never strike lightning in a bottle twice. But or you probably won't. But at the time, I kind of knew we were going to split up. My daughter was being born, and we didn't know. And I was like, so we went to the doctor to figure out if it was a boy or girl. And they told us it was a girl. I wanted a boy. And I literally in the thing was like, shit. Like I screamed shit in the room, which I told my daughter I'm ashamed of. It's funny now, but it was because I thought, I was like, at the time, my belief was I don't want kids. Kids are going to make my life miserable. You know, they're going to keep me from my dreams, to keep me from my fun. And so then, of course, the day of the birth of my daughter, like the minute I looked into her eyes, and I'm not being corny, I looked into her and I just fell in love with her. And of course, like having a daughter is the best. She's like the best. But I was like, what the fuck have I been doing? Like, it just snapped me. Like, oh my, why don't I have 10 of these? Like, I should have 10. I want 10. You know, like I'm a big, strong man. Why? And I started reverse engineering my life. Why am I financially struggling when I'm good at what I do? Why? And that's when I started unraveling my life. And that's when I woke up and realized that I've been scammed and lied to my whole life under this control system that does everything it can to degenerate you and keep you from your destiny, which is to raise children and be abundant.
When you say reverse engineer, though, like what do you mean? Like unlearn things that you had previously learned?
Yeah, like why did I think that having kids was going to be bad? Like that to me is the most insane thing. You just, like you've said, you just had a child. I'm sure you've talked about in the show recently.
Yeah, I got a boy.
I mean, it's the most insane, awesome thing you can ever think of, right? It's the craziest thing. It's so beautiful. And can you imagine they're trying to tell us that having children is bad? And why are they propagating this? Why are they propagating?
It rewires your brain.
Yeah, but it's so like they don't want you to have the greatest thing that there is. Like you're basically your reason for being here is to propagate the species. So obviously they have an issue with the species, right? So then, you know, there's that. Then there was the more pragmatic stuff like, is my volume okay? I feel like it's okay?
It's perfect.
Okay, good. Yeah, you know, because I'm raised in America, so it was, or the United States. I call America is occupied by the United States. That's how the United States federal regime. We're an occupied territory. But we were, you know, raised with this absolute horse shit about how we're the freest country in the world and the freedom machine and, you know, the voting and the holy fathers were these, you know, pure, pristine men that only wanted freedom. And, you know, the court system is amazing. And it's, you know, it's not the best, but it works really hard. And it's utter nonsense. And so that was a big part of it because it really, for a lot of people, And I mean, if you had said to me like America wasn't number one or America wasn't the freest country, like I would want to fight you before all this. You know what I mean? Like I would have like gotten physically angry at you. That's how crazy it is. And that unwound, which was really, really depressing. Like that was like losing a girlfriend that I was in love with when that fell apart. And there's just so many things, you know, when start just all the stuff, you know, all the stuff.
But that's one of the big things, though, is that people don't want to let go of so many of these preconceived ideological positions, I suppose, and beliefs in things that we have been fed.
It's an ego thing. That's what Natty Jones says in the movie. It's an ego thing. They don't, you can't, they don't, it's very difficult. It's very difficult, but you have to live. The analogy that I like is, you know, you have to live in the truth, no matter how miserable it is, because it's like the analogy is if you're living in a neighborhood and there's a mob guy and he's killing people and burying them in the cemetery, and you don't realize that the mob guy and the cops are working together. It's all one thing, and you're completely and totally controlled by the mob and the cops. They're all corrupt. And you go to tell the police about the mob guy, you're going to end up in the cemetery. So you need, the neighborhood is terrible. It's completely corrupt, but at least you understand what's going on so you can protect yourself and you can make decisions that will hopefully get you out of that situation. But if you're living in a fantasy where, you know, you're going to vote the guy in and, you know, we're going to vote Trump in, he's going to fix everything, and you know we're going to bring America back. One of the things about Barnum World is Barnum statements. Barnum statements are statements that they use to control us. It's a really good tool. They're statements that sound like they mean something really profound, and they get your emotions up, but they actually mean absolutely nothing because they mean something different to everybody that hears them. So if you took somebody in a room, and you know the classic one is "Make America Great Again." That doesn't mean anything. If you took 15 people in a room and asked them, write down in 3 sentences what "Make America Great Again," you're going to get 15 different answers. It doesn't mean anything. It's a Barnum statement, and they use them all. You know, bring the country together. We're going to get back to the Constitution. You know, all these things are Barnum statements. Build back better. So we go through that in the film at Barnum World. But I don't know where I was going with that, but I mean, I'm sorry, it's 7 here. I'm sorry if I'm meandering. Hopefully I'm not ruining the show here.
The COVID era is a great example of a bunch of these themes because people were voluntarily lining up like cattle to get an injection, a brand on their arm.
Yeah, it was absolutely bonkers.
And that's self-imposed.
What was crazy to me was like, oh yeah, there's so many things that were crazy about that. I still haven't, it's so crazy because they did all that and then we're just like, moving on. This is the thing. What did you conclude from that? Because I'm still processing the fact that the entire world was involved in that. It starts to make David Icke look a lot more plausible than maybe he did before. Like the whole thing.
Obviously it wasn't a coincidence.
Right. Exactly. And this is what Barnum World's about, is that he just goes through all of the different propaganda tools they have and how easy it is to just, because they know how people are going to act. And it was so easy. And the thing is that there were so many people. I have one of my best friends who was an extremely intelligent guy, and he was just gone. And I tried, and I could not reach him. And I just stopped. I haven't talked to him since. There were intelligent people that could not accept the fact that they were being lied to. So I don't know what I conclude from that now. I don't know if that doesn't wake people up to the system. I mean, I'm making films. I'm doing my thing. I'm trying to wake people up. But I don't know if even waking people up is enough. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of black-pilled on are they capable? Are we just going to have to try to carve out whatever we can? You think so?
I'm also a bit black-pilled on that. I've come to realize now, I mean, particularly after Trump was elected, and I'm just an observer, right? I don't live in the States, but I see the number of people who are suddenly embedded in the system again since he became president, because, hey, anything he says is cool. So therefore, he's playing 5D chess. So trust the plan, bro.
Yeah. And that's what I say. A lot of people have the different opinion that they're going to wake up because he's going to prove himself to be, he's already doing it with this Israel stuff. I mean, but he was doing it before. It was so obvious. It's so obvious. It's like you're screaming, like, can't you see this? You shake people, but they can't. But I always said if Kamala had gotten in, it would have been so obvious that she cheated, and her policies would have been so evil and stupid that I think what's coming to the United States is a massive secession. How that looks, I don't know. Early 2030s. I thought we could have gotten that for real. I thought we could, because this is going to be so ridiculous. But what Trump did was all these people, America's back, baby. Freedom is back, baby. And then I can't tell you how many right-wing kind of, even like really honest based right-wingers would we're shipping out 30 million people. We're going to send them back. I'm like, dude, you guys are living in fantasy land. They're not sending anybody. The thing is, they'll say the borders are sealed. How would I know if the borders are sealed? The immigration's down. We've got the immigration. Nothing has changed. I don't know. How would I know that? There's still tons of people here from other places. The border's massive. There's a massive border between Arizona, Texas, and Mexico. How that border's sealed? That doesn't even make any sense. It's just it's all what it's all the grand Wurlitzer, man. It's Barnum world. They put whatever they're putting out there, people are going to buy into and start arguing back and forth, and it just got everybody back on the America train. But he is doing very badly. I don't know. I don't know if he's if it just happens to be that he just is just full of shit, or if he's actually actively okay, I'm part of the scam, rub my hands together. I don't know. Obviously, nobody can really know. People think that there's we don't know what happened with his so-called assassination attempt. We don't know, but we can know that
he doesn't even talk about it.
we don't know the truth. That's for sure. Yeah.
No.
What I can't understand with that thing is that two people, one or two people, I think one guy was killed and somebody else was shot, got capped, and they're in the audience somewhere. If you have an AR and you're sitting on top of a tower, I mean, I'm not an expert with an AR, but I can hit you. You know what I mean? It's a 5.56 bullet. It's not hard. That gun's meant to shoot people. It's pretty. I mean, why they're shooting audience people, 30 yards away. What was that? That was just to add to the drama, which I don't know if this is a Matrix thing or an intentional global cult thing, but the fireman that was killed, his number was 33 on his uniform. I don't make of that what you will. It's just odd how that shit happens. Is it a Matrix thing? Is it? I mean, I talk about this with Legal Man all the time, who played Mr. Jones and played Natty Jones, is a friend of mine. If this week this whole thing gets uncovered and there's not some sort of supernatural beings behind this, I'll be disappointed. I'll be shocked. I can't imagine human beings could put this much scammery together for this long. Most people I know they're nice. I can't imagine the kind of organization and scammery and bullshit that goes on. I think films again, I don't want to push my own stuff, but I think Barnum World, because it really, you cannot watch that film and walk away unless you're just gone. You cannot watch that film and walk away and go, oh yeah, I know that's everything. There's no argument. It's this is it. We're telling you what they're doing. We're showing, it's not complicated. It's not brain surgery. And we're showing it Like, I give you an example. There's a guy. I pulled this off the internet, but then I cleaned it up. One of the Barnum statements is, "This is the most important election of our lifetimes. This is the most important election of our lifetime." We do a string from 2020. You keep breaking up. Are you there? But it goes from 2024 to 1940 clips of presidential candidates saying it's the most important election of our lifetime. And when you see that laid out, it's like the audience, they'll watch it and at first they're kind of laughing and then they're like, oh, and then by the time you get to like the 70s and the 60s, like, oh, whoa, what? Like, what is this horse shit? Like, they've been saying this for 80 years and it still works. Together alone, that's a Barnum statement. They just live on these Barnum statements. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. They're everywhere. I don't know where. Yeah, it's with one of the things is the dark occult thing. So that's where the repetitive content. Have you ever talked to a guy named Jason Christoff?
Just a few days ago, in fact.
Oh, okay. So you went over this stuff. He's a big repetitive content guy.
Yeah.
He, when you see it, because it kind of messed my head up when I was editing the film. There was everybody's seen that newscast where it's they're going false news. It's a threat to our democracy. It's a threat to our democracy. It's a threat to. Have you ever seen that?
Yes. Yes,
well,
a few times.
We use that, of course, but then I cut to another one where there's like 40 senators or congressmen. I don't know what these assholes do, but they're every single one of them. It was a longer bit, but I cut it to the very end where they go, "That's the truth," and "That's the truth," and in the bit they say the same thing. A couple of them variate a little bit. Most of them do the exact same physical movements where they have this little like handheld, little like portable mic thing, and they say something and then they sit down and go, "Now that's the truth." And like they use the same hand movements and gestures. It is really creepy. And so to me, they know something. It's I don't know. It's got to be some sort of weird occult for all of those people to do that the exact same way and move the exact same way. I don't know how to explain it. It's very creepy. It's very creepy. And they have to know that somebody's going to cut it together and show the world, but they don't care. It doesn't matter to them. I think they've figured out that if they just show you what they want to show you, there's going to be a certain percentage of the population that's going to buy into it. And nothing you show them will change their mind. You know what I mean? So they don't care. They just do this programming thing and they're obviously lying, but they're saying that's the truth. That's the other thing. It's inversion. Everything's inversion where they're blatantly lying and then they say that's the truth. It's like it's also a demoralizing thing. It's very demoralizing. They want to demoralize people to just kind of like, oh, there's nothing we can do and just kind of give up and move on with their life and let them run on this scam and this control system that they're running on us.
What do you think is going on? I mean, what's the game plan?
I don't know. Digital prison, one world government. That's what I think's going on. I think that's what they want. Digital prison, one world government. Satanic.
Enslavement.
Yeah.
And the illusion of freedom.
I think that they're going to get to the point where there's not going to be any more illusion. That's where I think we're headed. I think the illusion's going to go away. They're going to just be, we're just going to be, and I think eventually they're going to probably try to kill a bunch of us. As the game, as the red blue scam, they're there to pretend like there's somebody trying to fight this thing, you know? Oh my God, did you see the interview with Tucker Carlson where he interviewed Ted Cruz? You've got to watch this. This is something that should be studied. It's mind-boggling. If you want to unscrew and look under the hood of what these people that run this world think and do, and I don't know where he's at or what level he is or whether he's a true believer or not, he is an unbelievably fucked up person. I mean, he is a really fucked up
Ted or Tucker?
Ted. I would say, a lot of people would say, oh, Tucker's in on it and his CIA. I think Tucker is a man who's changed his mind. I mean, there's questions he doesn't ask. There's places he doesn't go, but he won't get the interview if he does. You know, he's also kind of still a believer. I don't know what he is. I don't know the man, but I think he's a man of change. People do change their mind. It's not, I think when people act like everybody's in on it, they give this stuff too much credit. These people are not that competent. It's just not that hard to do. There's an interesting interview with this former CIA guy, and he's talking about these methods they learn to kind of manipulate people. And he's like, I learned these. I was like, there's no way this shit works. It's just too obvious. He's like, there's no way. And then so he goes, I think I went out into the real world and I did it. And it's like, it works like 100% of the time. It's like these techniques are so simple. So it's not like these people have to be this giant where Tucker's acting. And it's like, no, it doesn't. It's very easy to manipulate and control the people. I think Tucker Carlson is a guy, in my humble opinion, who's changed his mind. He was pro-war. And now he's like, I'm anti-war. And he's trying to talk to Ted Cruz and going, Ted Cruz wants to invade Israel or Iran and regime change. After all we've been through, he's still pushing this shit. And he's like, Tucker's like, basically, if I had to sum him up, he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? But the interview it's fascinating. It's really a fascinating look into these psychopaths and idiots that run the world and how they, and like I said, what level he's at, I don't know. If you keep unpeeling the onion, what do we end up with? Satan? I don't know. It's so evil and bizarre. It's hard to even fathom that it could just be human beings, but I don't know. All I'm saying is everything's on the table. Let me define what I mean by idiot. What I mean is they have absolutely no wisdom. Like, if you're a piece of shit and you're you're anti-human, anti-God, you're an idiot. I'm not saying you're not intelligent. Okay, I'm saying I'm not saying you're not manipulative. I'm just saying you're a fucking idiot. Like the guy Yuval Harari, whatever that, he's supposed to be the smartest Jew in the world. That guy is a fucking idiot. He's an idiot. He's a complete idiot. He's missing everything. Missing all the important things he's missing. So that's what I mean by that.
You would think that more and more and more people are becoming aware, right?
Yeah, let's just go back. Wasn't that wild when we had those Nazis running the government? Now it's over now. Let's go back to work. I don't know. In some way, it's kind of interesting because the way humans can just adapt, I think in some ways, this is my thing. And Lark and Rose have gotten back and forth on this. He thinks people are waking up, and I hope he's right. But my thing is, even if they wake up, they're not going to accept voluntarism and anarchy. People don't want freedom. They want to be told what to do, in my opinion. I've become very black-pilled on this. I don't think most people want freedom. They want somebody to tell them. It's the line of the Jones Plantation. They don't want freedom or the truth. They want somebody to tell them what to do, and they don't want it to be them. They want to know somebody's in charge, and it's not them. That's what they want, in my opinion.
Said anarchy. So just for clarity, when you talk about anarchy, you're not talking about chaos. You're just talking about individualism.
No, they obviously turned that word. I mean, the word means what the word means for people. For people now, it means chaos. But the original, they obviously did that to manipulate what it is. But the original term just means anarchy, just means without rulers. Doesn't matter because now it means chaos. But my anarchy means I like voluntarism, self-organizing principle. Human beings can self-organize. But the problem is that, and this, that these types of people are going to come in and manipulate humans and gain control. It's just like that supposedly quote that Napoleon said, how did you take over France? There was a sword in the ground. I picked it up. That's probably going to happen. I don't think that people are going to, we're about to collapse and everybody's waking up, that everybody's just going to go, let's be anarchists. We're just no more governments. I mean, it's conceivably possible. It would require a massive elevation of consciousness where we would look at politicians and governments like we look at, transatlantic and the African slave trade or all the slave trades, the Roman slave trade. We look at it now like we're appalled by it for the most part. It'd have to be like that. Like if you want to, there'd have to be where, like, if you try to rule over other people, we're going to kill you. Like, you're just not fit to be in society. That would require a massive elevation of consciousness. I hate to be negative. I just don't see it. I think everybody knows this is horse shit. If they make it so horrible that it's untenable, there could be something. You know, I don't think everybody's. I'm not like it's going to be dystopia, hell. Like, I don't know. I don't know where it's going. I don't know where. I'm sorry. I'm tired of rambling.
Though,
mm-hmm.
To be fair, though, without slavery, we wouldn't have rock music.
Explain that joke.
God bless slavery. A lot of people don't know that, though.
Explain that. I don't get it.
I mean, well, rock music comes from blues, and blues comes from slavery. Did you know that?
Oh, yeah. I've heard this theory. I don't know that that's true because a lot of people think blues came from bluegrass or from the Appalachian people. Did you know that?
Well, I like my position.
Well, the thing is that's another one of those psyop things where the white man just copied the black man, where it's actually those black people came over here and saw all these really mountain people playing this kind of like came from Scotland, bluegrass, and they adopted that music from that. So there's that argument. But I like your joke. I get your point.
I mean,
we wouldn't have rap music without slavery. I know that. We wouldn't have rap music. And that in the CIA.
I mean, if you look at the data right now, do you know that the biggest slave trade is actually from African countries?
Yeah.
But it's very politically incorrect to say that.
Yeah, well, it's because the controllers hate multiculturalism. They want us all mixed together. They want the brown blob. They want to ethnically cleanse all of us, turn us into one big brown blob. We have no history. We have no culture. We have no religion. Have no family. We're just the brown blob of enslaved consumers. So when they say they like multiculturalism, I say they actually hate multiculturalism because they hate us. Why would they like multiculturalism when they're anti-human? They hate multiculturalism. That's why they're trying to mix everybody together and turn us into the giant, the Kalergi plan. You've heard of that.
Yeah, it's to remove white people out of Europe.
Well, it's just to brown everybody and turn us into like this ethnically cleansed the brown blob, I call it. That's what they want. They don't love I like multiculturalism. I want to go to Belgium and Germany and see German culture. I want to go to El Salvador and see El Salvadoran culture. They don't want that. They want everything to be just McDonald's on every corner. Zog. Dude, America is Zog. Zog. I was looking at I was at a gas station yesterday. I almost took a picture of this, and I was looking at the front of the building, and I was like, God, Zog. It was a $3 meal plan. It was a disgusting hot dog and like a 60-ounce, 24 donut drink, which is basically those drinks are like a dozen donuts. That's how much sugar's in those drinks, that they're big gulp drinks. And like a piece of candy or something was $3. And then it had a Zyn. Then it had like a weed thing. You get these like 3 for $15. You get like, and then it was like a liquor deal, and then it was cigarettes. And I'm like, that is Zog right there. There it is. Everything. The construction of the building is these hideous buildings that are built only for commerce. They don't last. And then everything is just vices and misery. It's terrible food.
When I was in Paris, it looked like any other big city in the world. It didn't look French.
It flattens everything. That's what they did. Flattens everything. Yeah. There's no culture anymore. They're anti-multicultural. You know what I mean? You want to go to Italy and see Italian culture. You want to go wherever you're going in the world. They want to flatten it all and put Circle K's and Shell stations and Zyns and McDonald's and Starbucks and Panda Express and Walmarts everywhere. And it's just a flattened group of brown, ethnically cleansed people that have like I said, no history, no ancestry, no culture, no religion, nothing. It's just consumption and enslavement.
And when you come to South Africa, you want to see wildlife and crime.
I want to see farmers rising up and massacring anybody that comes near their farm. That's what I want to see. Let me ask you a question, because I wanted to save this, but I can't. What is your take on Drius Duplessis? Because here's a guy who's a South African champion. And he never talks about the farmers there. And it makes me wonder, does he just live in the good life? Oh, does he?
He does. Yes, he does.
He doesn't do it, but they never. Go ahead.
He spoke out at one or two of his fights.
I like him. I like him a lot. I think he's a regal guy.
He's a great fighter.
Oh, he's great. I've won a good bit of money on him, actually. I've been calling him for a while.
Joe Rogan can't figure him out. So Drius is basically a grappler. I mean, the guy is very dirty. Not in terms of he doesn't fight dirty. He's just very sloppy. He's not.
You're going to get into a brawl with that guy.
Fighter.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to get into a brawl with him.
Well, I mean, if you're getting in the ring, when you say dirty, you're getting into a brawl. He's coming at you.
Yeah.
And I can tell you what. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say if you give him a chance, he's going to take you down. That's it, on the ground.
Well, my thing with him is that the explanation for him is that he goes into the ring and his mindset is, I'm going to win no matter what. There's a few guys like that, and when you see them, you bet on them. He knows he's going to win, and he goes in there and he's going to win, and he gets it done. He finds a way to get it done. He's got that thing that's very few fighters have. He's just, I'm going to win. I hope he fights Khamzat. I think he's going to beat him. I really do. He's going to beat Khamzat. He's going to get past the first few rounds, and then Khamzat's finished. Because Khamzat's one of those guys, if you get him past, we're going to get MMA discussion now, but like if you get him past the first few rounds, he's going to crumble. He's one of those guys that's like a bully that kicks everybody's ass, but if he meets his match, he's going to crumble. He's going to get tired. He's going to give up. When
Drius fought Strickland, it was a very difficult one for me because I like both of them.
Well, Drius lost that first fight. He lost that first one. He got the decision because they were in Canada, and Sean Strickland was talking shit on Trudeau the whole time. He beat him the second time. Did you know that? He lost that fight, yes. Though. He lost 4 rounds in that fight. He fought great, but he lost. But then the second one, he beat him. He came back and beat him. He beat him real good the second time. I mean, his face was just
Drius. He beat Israel.
I took him against Israel. I knew he was going to kick the shit out of Adesanya. I mean, I knew he was going to house that guy. Now, I'm telling you, he's going to be an underdog against Khamzat, and that's a good bet. Within the betting world, that's a very good bet. I will be shocked if he loses to Khamzat. The only way he can lose to Khamzat is if he gets just crushed in the beginning, and I just don't see it, man. I don't see it. Drius is a savage. He's enormous. He's like my size, but he's a middleweight, 185, right? Yeah. Dude's enormous.
There is a segue. There's a lesson that we can bring back into the Jones Plantation discussion, and that's the importance of fitness and self-defense.
Yeah, especially now.
If you can have a gun.
Well, we hear. My thing with guns here is the Second Amendment here is kind of like a LARP. If they weren't making a bunch of money off it, they just shut it down. You try to defend yourself here. It's what they call that anarcho tyranny, where you can, if you go and run around and act like an asshole in the subway, you can get away with it. But if you defend them, then you're going to have to go to trial, and they go after you because they want to make sure that they have to have a monopoly on violence, but they have to have a monopoly on policing. You're not allowed to defend yourself. They have to have a monopoly on that because otherwise people would be going off. There are a lot of very base dudes here in the States and that know how to use a gun and have lots of them, and they would go off, but it's still too much police. We can't quite do what we need to do. But I say get guns because, and same thing in your country, you guys are a little more broken down, but at some point you're going to need to be able, you're going to be able to use them. You better have them. At some point, you're going to be okay to use them.
Yeah, you mentioned AR-15 earlier when you're talking about Trump's assassination attempt. I actually, although I do like an AR-15, I prefer an AK-47. Have you shot one?
No, and I'm not opposed to that gun. I like that gun too. I got an AR because I'm here, and there's a place called Palmetto State Armory here. The guy is super based, and he wants to make the AR like our AK. So he's made these $500 ARs that are indestructible. They're not the greatest thing, but they're pretty awesome, and they're guaranteed for life. So I just bought his because it was simple. Just buy it. I'm not, but I would like to get an AK. What do you like about it? What's superior about it?
It's just so gangster.
Yeah, I'm with you. Do you have a wooden one?
Yeah.
Hey,
Well, I don't have one. I don't own an AK.
Why not?
I'd like to. I haven't bought. I just didn't go around to it.
Oh, like that's the kind of gun you like just hold up. Dot, 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 dot. You know what I mean? That's like one of those kind of guns. Yeah. The AR is
It's not very accurate. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. You just kind of just shoot wildly like a shotgun.
Yeah, I like that. I like the
You're
element
bound to
of
hit
it.
something.
Yeah, yeah, and you can like run through the freaking throw that thing in a river in the mud, and pick it up, just bop, 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 bop.
Well, you should throw it in the river because it heats up.
Does it? It's just a piece of shit that works.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
it just shoots the
It's
guy.
great.
I just want to shoot the guy. I just want to shoot the zombies, man. I don't need to have the best gun in the world. I just want a gun that works that shoots the zombies. That's all I need. What's the deal there? Can you just like, is it so crazy? Again, I don't want to, is it so like wild there? You could just like walk, if somebody comes near your place, just blow them away and hey, come get this body out of here. Has it gotten to that point there?
No, no.
No? Okay. Come drag this
It's
guy out
still
of here.
somewhat civilized.
Oh, is it? Okay.
But I will tell you this. On more than one occasion, different cops have told me and other people who don't know one another that if somebody does break into our home, don't injure them, kill them.
Really?
That's the rule of thumb.
Interesting. Yeah. Why think they just, okay, he's dead. They're not going to have any, he can't say anything.
Well, that and plus the police tend to just they become so jaded.
Okay. Yeah. It was kind of like that when I lived in Atlanta. I don't know what you know about hot Atlanta, but it was a very dangerous city. And I used to work at this club there, and I became friends with the cops, whatever you think of the government cops. And they said this almost the exact same thing you just said. Say, if you get robbed, kill him because it's less paperwork.
Our private security force is 4 times larger than that of the police.
Well, that sounds awesome. Is it better?
Oh, superior.
Far superior. I think that if I was a cop and I actually wasn't like a scumbag, I was a serious cop, I would quit the force, get all the dudes, the men that I trust and respect, start a private security company, and go into one of these towns that's having issues with the cops and say, even like one of these like ghetto neighborhoods where the cops are not, they hate the cops for whatever reason, say, look, whatever funds you get, direct those funds to us and hire us, and we'll run your streets, and there'll be no more crime, and we will work for you. We're not going to work for the state. We work for you. And so you can fire us. And it's just like the idea that the police, we go over to this in Barnum world, back the blue. That's another big Barnum statement. The idea that cops that are paid by the government and have pensions, like they work for a certain period of time, then they sit on their ass for the rest of their lives or go get a second job and they get paid. The idea that they work for you is just beyond idiotic. I mean, just simple incentives alone. You're going to work for who pays you. So they work for the state. And that's been proven a million times. And people still can't, it's all right wingers that have gotten brainwashed into this back the blue psyop for loving government cops and to protect and serve. To protect and serve, that's a Barnum statement. They can't wrap their head around this. That they every single time, the COVID thing was a perfect example. They all did exactly what they were told to do. And the only one, and there a few people came and stood up against them and got fired. There was one guy that went viral and he said, I'm not enforcing this, and he got fired like the next day. Now, the only thing I would say on that is that we do have a thing called sheriffs here. We have a sheriff kind of thing, and they have a lot of power, and they get elected by the people. So you can get some, there is freedom with the sheriff. Where I live, we don't have cops. We have sheriffs only. And this is where I'm at is old school. Like, there's gun stores in every corner. It's bikers, real cowboys. I've got a rodeo down the street. And then there's like rich boomers that move up here and kind of like have like second houses or retire here. And we don't have police. There's no taxes. and it's pretty based where I'm at, but I'm in a little pocket, you know. I'm in Phoenix Greater, but I'm in my own thing. Like the aesthetic here is completely different than Phoenix. So it's like a little Western town. So you actually like it. It's really cool here. And so it's like I said,
that's one of the advantages of living here in South Africa. We have a completely inept, incapable, useless, broken state. And that's a good thing because it provides a sense of freedom.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You want an inept government. You want that. That's what I love about South America and Latin America and Central America is that in Mexico is that it is, when you say chaotic, just feels freer to me. You know, I was in when I was in Mexico, when I went to the conference this year, and we stayed in this little beach town in Acapulco, and it was like a very poor beach town, but it had some cool the little hotel was really cool that we stayed at, but it's right on the ocean, and it's like you go down there, you can do whatever the hell you want, you can build whatever the hell you want, and it's completely free. And the people are so relaxed and happy. You know, like you go out in the morning, the woman's got like live chickens hanging, and like, it's just whatever. People just living their lives, you know, do whatever you want to do. Live your life. You know, there's no crime. There's no crime. You're not going to go around and do something to somebody else because you'd be they'll all kick the shit out of you and throw you out of the neighborhood. You know, like everybody's just living their lives. It was a very cool self-organizing kind of thing. And like you're saying, when they say chaos, that's how they kind of scare us. To me, it's just freedom. It's not controlled, you know, it's not, this psyop of safety. That's really how one of the ways the state is able to convince people that they should allow them to control them is this facade of safety, you know.
How can I follow you or your work?
You can follow me on Twitter if you want, at Tregsman, 2 G's and an S. But go to jonesplantationfilm.com and watch that film if you haven't seen it yet. If you don't want to go to our website, it's on most of the major streaming services. It's on Amazon and Apple TV and a bunch of the other ones. And then you can watch Barnum World for free on my YouTube channel at Drew Media TV. Just go to YouTube and type in Barnum World.
Andrew Treglia, thank you for joining me in the trenches.
All right, thanks, man.